Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about black powder revolvers, and specifically I'm going to be talking about their weights. Okay, I put them on a scale and I'm going to talk about their weights versus how useful they are in everyday carry capacity. Okay, so on the end over here I got the 1858 Remington. I consider this to be the king of black powder revolvers. Now, I know that the 47 Walker was a lot more bigger, a lot more powerful, but here's the thing: the chambers on this are big enough that if you really pack this tight with black powder, I mean, you're going to come close to what the 47 Walker was doing. I think when I had the Walker, the most energy I got out of that was 480 foot-pounds of energy, close to 500 foot-pounds, okay? With this 1858 Remington, the highest I ever got, I think, was about 450. Okay, and I'm kind of rounding the numbers there. So the Walker being almost a 4.5 pound gun, yeah, you got a little bit extra power, but I don't think it justified all that extra weight. And given that this only has 6 rounds, you probably want to have at least 2 of these on you, if not 3. So that's something to consider. Weight is an important consideration if you're going to be carrying multiple revolvers, okay? Because the fastest reload for a revolver is another revolver, okay? This 1858 Remington, I put it on my scale. That comes in at 2 pounds 14 ounces, okay? 2 pounds 14 ounces. It's just shy of 3 pounds, okay? Now, on the other end over here, I have this 31 caliber pocket revolver that I did a video just on this. This thing weighs 15 ounces, okay? So 15 ounces, basically 1 pound, okay? It's 1 ounce short of a pound. So it's really light, it's almost 2 pounds lighter than that. But the problem that I found with this is lethality. I was shooting that steel drum over there, and I don't mean this steel. I mean just this. And in many cases, this, with full charges, was not penetrating. Okay. So that's the thing. It's like you're carrying a pound of steel, but the lethality of that 1 pound of steel is very questionable. Okay. So that's the problem with this. It's really light, but I don't think it really helps that much. Over here I have the Colt. Okay, this is a 44 caliber Colt. This is a 36 caliber Colt. Okay, and here's the weights on the 44 caliber. 2 pounds 11 ounces versus 2 pounds 10 ounces. So there's a 1 ounce difference from 36 caliber to 44 caliber. So my thought on this is that, for that extra ounce, yeah, definitely go for the 44 caliber. You're gonna get a lot more power, a significant amount more power. Okay, I did some ballistics testing. I have if you look up Pocono shooting black powder ballistics, you should find a chart that I have collected over the years where I put out where I have recorded the ballistics, in terms of energy and momentum for these revolvers. And I don't remember what it is offhand, but basically, from what I recall, this comes in somewhere around 250 foot-pounds of energy. So it was fluctuating, I think, between like 225 on the low end. I think upwards towards, just short of 300. I don't think it was quite hitting 300. So basically, you're getting the power of a 38 special with this 44 caliber Colt, whereas with this 1858, I was getting 9mm power. Okay, so there's definitely a significant difference in power when you go from the Colt up to the Remington, and the main difference is that the chambers are a little bit bigger, so you can get a little bit more gunpowder in this. Now I want to talk to you guys about what I consider to be the best compromise, and I'm planning to do a video just on this. This is a 36 caliber 1862 Colt Police. Okay, that's the name. that they gave to it. Now all these other guns over here, these are all Type Etta. This one here is Uberti, and this was quite expensive. I don't remember the exact amount, but I'm pretty sure it was upwards of $300 or close to $300. And the weight on this is where is it? 1 pound 9 ounces. Okay, so it's 9 ounces heavier than this, but you're actually getting killing power out of this. Okay, this has absolutely no power, no problem penetrating those steel drums. I think it takes about 21 grains of powder. So for me, this is a really great option for everyday carry. Okay, if you were going to carry a black powder revolver, because it's light, and it's lethal enough. Now, I'm saying that conceptually, in terms of its weight and power. The problem that I have had with this revolver, even though I absolutely love it in terms of its size, weight, and its effectiveness, what I have found is that it's not as reliable as the 44s and even this 36. I think that the issue is that basically they have, these are a lot more popular. They sell a lot more of these, so they have had a chance to debug them. With this one over here, I have found a couple of issues. Number one, the wedge is really loose, so the wedge comes out really easy. And actually, I ordered one. I shot it. I found that it wasn't shooting perfectly, in terms of reliability. I sent it back to Cabela's. I said, okay, fine, send me another one. Maybe I just got a bad copy. So they sent me another one, and that one was pretty much exactly the same thing with the loose wedge. And I just said, well, I guess that's as good as they can make this revolver as far as a modern reproduction. So I decided to keep it because I really like the way it looks. I really like the way it feels in the hand. It's got a really nice balance. This is basically a perfect pocket revolver. It's a 36 caliber, and it's nice and thin. If you look at the chambers there, you can see how little steel is between the chambers. So that they really put as little steel into this as possible. With these big 44s, they tend to overbuild them. That's why they're pretty heavy. They are overbuilt. They are very, very rugged. This one they actually built as light as possible, which is why I really like it. But aside from the what do you call this thing? The wedge being a little bit too loose, and I did put this on an anvil and shape it out a little bit, which made it a little bit better than it was originally, but I still can't get it perfect. Aside from the wedge, another issue that I found with this is that, for one thing, that it would pinch the caps and basically suck them out. And the reason why that happens is because there's a little notch that they put in the hammer so that you can rest the hammer between the nipples safely. And what happens is it's cut so fine that it pinches the caps and it pulls them out. So the solution to that is basically to take a file and file this out a little bit. I used Dremel, and what I did is I went a little too far, because now it won't, now it will actually slip off the that little stud. But that's all right. That's not a big deal. I wouldn't carry, if I was going to carry this, I would carry this on an empty chamber. I don't trust the little studs that they have, that this wouldn't slip. Because it's a small revolver with a small cylinder, if the caps do happen to fall into the action, it's pretty good at jamming the gun up. With these large revolvers, just because they have a larger cylinder, larger gears basically, if a cap does fall in there, usually if you crank down hard enough on your hammer, it will chew it up and spit it out. So even if you do get a cap in your action, you can usually just power through it and spin your cylinder. But with the little one, with this little one, there just isn't enough leverage, so it jams the gun up. So I think it's a great concept. I think that this is pretty ideal in terms of what I would want in an everyday carry revolver. Although the modern reproduction, this modern reproduction that Uberti makes, is not really that good. I mean, there's really no other way I can put it. It's really not that good. I have to assume that the ones that were made in period were better, I also, well, here's the thing. When back then, when they would make them, there was a lot less automation and a lot more people involvement. So these things, were basically handmade. I mean, they may have used machines to help them make it, but it wasn't like a computer running a machine. Even if there was a machine that was, that they used for, for folding metal, whatever, but there was a person behind the machine working it, and then inspecting each piece as it came out. And then when the revolver was put together, again, it was, visually inspected. And not only that, but once the revolver was sold, I mean, there was pretty much a gunsmith in every town that was really familiar with all the things that could possibly be wrong with these revolvers. And if there was some type of a manufacturing defect that was known, he would have a solution. Like, for example, if this wedge, was coming out too easy, well, he probably had a bunch of wedges that he made himself that he would substitute in, and you would pay him for that. So in period, any problems that existed with the revolvers as they came out of the factory, you had local gunsmiths that would be able to basically debug it for you, or you could debug them yourself. I mean, working on these things is not that hard, but today they're just mass produced in factories, and then when you get it, there's really no way for you to really debug it. Which is why, I definitely recommend, like, if you're first starting out, buy the 1858 first. This is the king of revolvers. Then after that, get the Colt 44. Even though this is the 1851 style, and this is the Confederate version because this is brass back here. So the Confederates basically kind of copied what the Union did. So this would have been really a 36 caliber. It would not have been that common to see a 44 caliber until 1860. In 1860, Colt made its round barrel, a 44 caliber version of the Colt. Although, like I said, a lot of these things were copied locally. The Union was, not the Union, the Confederates were copying and counterfeiting the Colt designs. So you would have seen all sorts of variations. I've seen pictures, of these brass revolvers, right? Brass frame revolvers, out of the Confederacy, that they look like really blocky. So a very crude copy of this design. So you would have seen a lot of counterfeits, a lot of copies. So a couple of things I wanted to share with you. Primarily the weight of these things. So basically, the 31 pocket, 15 ounces. 36 police, 1 pound 9 ounces. 36 Colt, 2 pounds 10 ounces. 44 Colt, 2 pounds 11 ounces. 44 Remington, 2 pounds 14 ounces. Now, one last thing I'll point out: between these two Colts over here, this is the 44. This is the 36. Even though there's a 1 ounce difference between these two guns, basically this has the octagonal barrel, so there's a lot more, that extra ounce is out here in the barrel. So as you, lift the gun up like this, you can feel that 1 ounce difference, because it's not just a question of 1 ounce, 1 ounce of extra weight, but it's 1 ounce of extra weight way out at the end of the barrel. And then when you compare it to the Remington, which basically the Remington has an extra inch of barrel, okay? So even though this is a much bigger, more heavy-duty revolver, when you're coming out of the holster and you're turning the gun over like that, you can definitely feel that this gun is heavier. This gun wants to rotate a little bit slower than this gun. This is a faster gun to rotate. So that 1 ounce makes a difference between these two guns, and certainly makes, the 3 ounce difference definitely makes a difference between these two guns. So a couple of things for you guys to think about. If you got any questions, comments, feedback, put in the comment section. And if you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.